Hey, what's up guys, I'm Juan Pablo and I'm here to teach you 7 ways as to why syndicating multifamily properties is way better than wholesaling multifamily. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Syndicating multifamily, what do I mean by that? Wholesaling multifamily, what do I mean by that? Multifamily properties is considered any real estate property 5 units and up from a mortgage perspective. So that's what I'm referring to in today's topic, okay? But syndicating, I'm actually talking about forming a general partnership where one person is somewhat of the quarterback, right? They're the person who's telling, hey, you take this handoff, hey, you get the financing, hey, you bring this to the table, you bring that to the table. They're the synergistic glue that's bringing all the resources together to make the deal work, okay? The general partner, and they're surrounded by a legion of limited partners who just bring their capital and or credit to the table. Now, when I say wholesaling multifamily properties, wholesaling is you getting a property under contract with a motivated seller, and you find an end buyer who wants to buy your contract for a fee, a wholesale fee or an assignment fee, in other words. So in both situations, whether syndicating multifamily or wholesaling multifamily, you can make money without your cash or your credit coming to the table, okay? But the only kicker is this. One of these two, syndicating, wholesaling, requires experience, and that's the syndicating. So that's why I want to put this asterisk here. So if you want to dive into either strategy, that's fine, but this one requires experience, but this one also gives you more benefits than this one, which we'll get into in a few moments, okay? All right, excellent. So these are the 7 reasons as to why I preference to do a syndication or a general partnership with buyers, if I have a team of buyers, a buyers list, instead of just wholesaling the property, say, hey, it's yours, and they have the ownership and I have 0. And the only thing that you get in exchange for wholesaling the property is just a check. Don't get me wrong, getting checks are good, but I prefer to have a check and then some. So let's dive into it. The first reason why I believe syndicating multifamily is better than wholesaling multifamily is how your time is being spent. Of course, both of them require time. That's something of value that you have to bring to the table, whether you're wholesaling or syndicating. But the time is spent differently. Motivated sellers. When you're wholesaling multifamily, the great majority of your time is spent finding motivated sellers. So I'm not sure if you guys ever wholesaled before, but what does that mean? That means you being on a phone night and day. Some of you guys may have a full-time job, part-time job, you may have other businesses that you're embarking upon, but at the end of the matter is this. If a motivated seller is calling you, you better stop what you're doing and answer that phone. And you have to field a lot of calls. Now, assuming you're a mom and pop, meaning, in other words, you're just getting started. But if you're like Magic Mike, one of our coaches, in which he has a call center, he has a whole system, he has Podio, he has everything in place, he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to screen the calls from a motivated seller because he has teams and systems in place. But until you get to that point, you have to be that main person who's answering the calls, screening the calls, going to the property, negotiating back and forth, getting the property in the contract, finding the end buyer, and so forth. So it's a lot of work involved. But it's good work. Why? Because it produces a good check. But in the beginning, a lot of your time is spent fielding calls, negotiating, motivated sales, and buyers. Okay, so it's a hustle. Just letting that be known. So that's where your time is being spent when you're wholesaling deals. However, if you're spending your time syndicating deals, your time is spent just reaching out to agents and wholesalers who already have motivated sellers under contract. And that's what I do. When I'm syndicating a multifamily property in which I'm the general partner, I just give a call out to my real estate agent. Hey, what's up, Dave? You got any deals? Or to my favorite wholesalers, other wholesalers who find deals. Again, like I said, wholesalers and agents, they find motivated sellers. I just reach out to them. They did all the legwork for me. Only thing I have to do as the syndicator, the general partner, is just train these guys, agents and wholesalers, on finding a deal that suits my needs. Hey, here's my business model. I'm looking at the camera guy, and he's like, yeah, I like that. He's learning as well. Hopefully you're shaking your head as well. So I spend my time reaching out to agents and wholesalers only. And I train them to find properties that fit my business model, in which my end buyers and partners preference to close on, the type of deals that they are interested in buying, okay? So as I stated earlier, as the syndicator, my main job is to be the quarterback. Got it? All right, great. So time is spent way differently. Wholesalers, most of your time is spent fielding calls, motivated sales, and in buyers as well, don't get me wrong. But as a syndicator general partner, I'm just reaching out to agents and wholesalers who already did the work and finding motivated sellers. Now there is one more thing you have to do as a syndicator that's not written on this board. You also have to spend your time finding in buyers, but you call those partners. Another reason why syndicating multifamily is better than wholesaling multifamily is the check. Okay. Now with wholesaling, of course, you can negotiate any amount that you want to obtain as your wholesale fee at closing. However, if you wholesale a deal and the end buyer happen to know how much you made, sometimes they might get upset by that. They might get disgruntled. They might be okay with you getting $5,000 from wholesaling a deal. They understand you found the motivated seller, you negotiated a deal, so of course you're due some type of compensation. But sometimes end buyers get jealous. If they find out you made $12,000 off of them, $25,000 off of them, and they want to tell all their friends not to do business with you because you're a crook, you're a charlatan, you're a shark, you're greedy, blah, blah, blah. And there's nothing wrong with that. He just got finesse. But since he got finesse, he's unhappy with it, he may tell his friends and colleagues about you. But the great thing about syndicating multifamily, the fee is discussed up front. In fact, it's expected. And you tell them, hey partners, as a result of me syndicating this deal, and I'm networking with agents and wholesalers, real estate attorneys. I'm also in conversations with the real estate mortgage lender. I'm also in conversation with property inspections, appraisals, and so forth. And I'm spending my time, the legwork, doing all the due diligence once the property's under contract. So since I'm bringing all this to the table, my fee is 1 to 3% of the purchase price. You tell them up front. So there's no guesswork. They're not upset that, oh, I didn't know you was making this much. Like with sometimes with wholesaling, because you have a vested interest in this deal, since you're spending your time and you're getting some ownership, which we'll get to in a few moments. But yes, you can get a check as well from being a general partner or syndicator in a multifamily deal, but you discuss it up front. You disclose it up front, unlike wholesaling. So it builds confidence with your limited partners in investing with you and doing more deals. Of course, they may try and negotiate a lower rate. That's why I put 1 to 3%, but aim for 3% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a 5 unit for $100,000, that's a $3,000 check waiting for you at closing. Okay. So that's one reason why I prefer to do syndicating. Just disclosing stuff up front with my limited partners. A third reason why syndicating multifamily is way better than wholesaling multifamily is you can get paid twice. Now, assuming you're not bringing, let's say, no cash and no credit. I'm just going to put FICO. When I say credit, I'm talking about W-2s as well. It's qualifying for mortgage. W-2s, they want to see your income as well as your FICO score. But just to simplify it, no paper. No money, no FICO, no paper. But you can still get paid twice. How so? The acquisition fees I just discussed here, as well as getting a part of the cash flow. Because it's expected. Once you syndicate a deal, you do a general partnership, your limited partners understand, okay, he's going to get an acquisition fee, as I just described here, plus he's going to get a certain percentage of ownership, which is always negotiable. And when we negotiate here on 100% finance, we're trying to fly under the radar and not have a mortgage lender ask you about, well, where's your down payment money coming from? Let me see your tax returns. Let me see your credit report. Let me see your personal financial statement. You have to have less than 19% ownership. Okay? So if you limit yourself to less than 19% ownership as the general partner, again, you being the quarterback, you can get paid through an acquisition fee at closing, as well as getting a percentage of the cash flow. So if you limit your ownership to 90%, you have 90% equity in the property. So when you sell it, you get 90% of the capital gains, if there are any. Hopefully there are. Plus, while holding the property, you also get 19% of the cash flow. So it's better. Why just wholesale and just get a check at the end where you can stay and play? So that's, in essence, it's pretty much, you want to hit it and quit it, or you want to stay and play. I prefer to stay and play. Stay, get my acquisition fee, and play with the cash flow. Got it? All right, next thing that makes syndicated multifamily better than wholesaling multifamily is you can trade your acquisition fee for more equity. That's what I've done with some partnerships. So let's say I'm expected to get a $3,000 check from that earlier scenario, which I bought a 5 unit for $100,000, which I actually did. A 5 unit for $100,000 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania market. So with that acquisition fee of $3,000, I can either eat it because my partners will bring that to the table, or I can say, hey, I don't need this small amount of $3,000. I'm gonna trade that in to get more equity. So instead of having, let's say, 19% ownership, I'm gonna have 25% ownership in that scenario. If I'm okay with going above the radar, okay? Because anything over 19%, the mortgage lender may ask for your financials. So want to take a look at your paper, your credit, your W-2s, your tax returns if you have them, as well as your FICO score, okay? But you do have that option. Trade in your acquisition fee for more equity and more cash flow, okay? And that's one thing I like to do with my partners. That, hey, you don't have to give me a check at closing. I just want to trade in for more ownership as a limited partner, okay? Which I get to in a few moments. And as a general partner, the reason why I like it, syndicated multifamily in comparison to wholesaling, as a general partner, you can enlarge your portfolio. You're not bringing any cash or credit to the table. So, in my opinion, why would you just give the property away, a great cash flowing property, to a bunch of other investors in which you have no ownership in, and you just get one check, when you can actually partner with these guys, these limited partners, and also grow your portfolio? And why is that attractive? Because the more properties you get in your portfolio, the more attractive you become as an investor. That people want to invest with you if they hear the size of your portfolio. Okay, that brings me to my next point. Limited partners will want to do more deals with you, even become money finders for you. So it had to happen to me on a partnership I had. I had one partnership in which we did 2 deals, and one of the partners came to me and said, hey, I have another guy who wants to bring money to the table. So Juan, how about I become a general partner with you? You do the same thing you continue to do, bro. You find the deal, the multifamily property. But I'll find someone else to bring the capital to the table. The capital to finance the down payment, the soft costs, those are costs incurred before closing, the closing costs, and so forth. So in essence, Juan Pablo, we're getting this deal 100% financed. I'm bringing nothing to the table. Juan Pablo, you're bringing nothing to the table except your time, your expertise. You being a quarterback, that's it. Now bring the capital. So I said, great. So that's another benefit of syndicated multifamily deals. Your limited partners may want to be converted into general partners. So why not? And that's what we did. So we found a 9-unit in which we closed in January 2017, in which he found another limited partner who brought all the cash to the table. Okay? And then what we did, myself and the old limited partner who was now a general partner, we just split the acquisition fee and the cash flow as a result. Okay? So that's another reason why syndicated multifamily is way better than wholesaling. The last reason I would say is if you happen to have good credit or you look good on paper, you have the nice FICO score, you have documented income such as tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, and the like, and you have some capital, some down payment money, then you can get paid even more. So you might say, okay, as a quarterback, as a general partner, as a syndicator of multifamily, I'm using all the terms interchangeably, I know right off the bat I'm getting paid an acquisition fee and cash flow. But I also have good credit and some money. I have a couple dollars in the bank. So I'm going to get paid more. There's 3 ways you can get paid outside of these 2 ways: acquisition and cash flow, or equity. You can get paid off of being the property manager, right? If you happen to have a property management company, you'll have some experience, you can get paid that way. You also get paid, as I mentioned earlier, as a limited partner if you want to trade your cash for more equity in the property, and you become a limited partner. And you can also get paid as a private lender if you say, hey, I'm just going to lend some money and you give me an interest-only note. Or I'm just going to lend some money, like seller financing, for example, and then you pay me back interest plus principal, whatever you can negotiate. So that's 3 additional ways in which you can bring, or in which you can make way more money off a deal if you bring 2 important resources to the table: the credit and some money to the table. All right, so we're going to open the floor for Q&A. Any questions for anyone?
Sure. Is there any situation where wholesaling multifamily will actually be better than syndicating multifamily?
Excellent question, excellent question. I'm glad you thought of that. So the question is this: is there any situation in which wholesaling multifamily would be better than syndicating? I would say yes, if you choose to have no ownership, many people do this, right? It's called cherry picking. They'll get deal flow, they have deals coming in, and they might say, whoa, I see 4 deals that really look juicy, where the cash flow is concerned, the equity, we're buying it undervalued, blah, blah, blah. I want to do these 4 deals. I'm going to put some money into the table, I got my partners, but it might come to a situation where there might be more deals. You might say, wow, well, I've exhausted my partners. That happened to me November of 2016, actually. I had 2 multifamilies under contract simultaneously. And then I had a third one come into my inbox. But I ran out of partners, and I ran out of funds personally to do this deal. So I was stuck. So I decided, well, what can I do? I thought of other creative financing options. So in that case, I thought about doing a master lease option. Okay? But I still was able to own it and control it, or not own it. I was able to control it and not own it, but I didn't wholesale it. But in that situation, I could have wholesaled it as well. So if it came to a situation where I'm cherry picking deals and I run out of resources to close a deal, wholesale it. Or if it came to a situation where the cash flow was just very small and it's just something I'm not interested in, like I preference doing for multifamily C areas where I can get a cap rate of 10% or higher. But there's multifamily properties like locally here in Atlanta, Georgia, that might be in a 6 cap, 7 cap. So with cap rates, that means that the cash flow is a lot less. It might grow at a higher appreciation, it might be a safer investment, but it's just not cash flowing as I would like it to be. So in a situation like that, if I have another friend or buyer who likes those type of cap rates, I'll just wholesale it to that individual. Because they might say, oh yeah, I'm in it for the appreciation. Or I'm in it because I want something safe and secure. I'm not trying to buy a property in the C area with Section 8 tenants. I don't care about all that, which is cool. So you can just cherry pick the best deals for yourself, syndicate them, but if you run out of resources, or if it's just a property that doesn't fit your business model, wholesale it. But excellent question. Any other questions?
That's about it.
All right, great. Yeah, so that's it, guys. So what you want to do is you want to be able to be that transactional engineer. Whatever transaction comes into your desktop and your inbox, you want to be that person who's the quarterback and you're able to dish it to which way. I'm going to do a master lease option, I'm going to wholesale it, I'm going to do a syndication, or I'm going to buy it myself. Okay? Only thing you want to do is have options. If you're curious to learn how you can accumulate this specified knowledge so that you can have options, just check the link below to learn more. Thank you.